r/AskReddit by Reddify. I do not care if you have cancer. My child deserves your seat. This encounter happened about 7 months ago. I do not want to insult your intelligence, because you most likely already know what entitled mom and me stands for. But I should say that EK in this story stands for embarrassed kid and OG stands for old gentleman, 60-some-year-old guy. The kid was very polite and sorry, so this story isn't about him. Also, I'm translating this into English, so bear with me. A little backstory. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with a cancer of the nasal cavity, stage 2. The tumor was quite large, but thankfully benign. Edit. People have pointed out I formulated this wrong. By benign, I wanted to shorten the fact it still did not spread into other tissue. Thus it was still contained, which is what I thought the word meant. I apologize for my gaps in knowledge. To get it removed, I first had to undergo aggressive chemotherapy to make it smaller. Thanks to the chemo, I had severe alopecia, hair loss, which made most of my hair and even eyebrows and eyelashes fall out. At some point I had to go bald, but I wore a wig, because I didn't want to look like a skinhead/neo-Nazi. I'm 6 feet 4 inches and pretty muscular, so I thought people would assume. So once, after a long chemo session in the hospital, I took the bus home. There's only one bus that goes from the hospital to where I live, so I took that one only to see it was absolutely packed. I felt like it thanks to the chemo, so I asked a middle-aged dude to let me sit. He was very understanding and gave me his spot without complaining. If you're reading this, thanks bro. 2 stops later, enter entitled mom. A lovely whale with an I demand a parley with a CEO haircut and a 12-some-year-old kid. It took her roughly 5 seconds to see the bus was packed, start looking for a free seat, spot me and start marching, or, in her case, trying to fit in the aisle between the seats while shoving others aside. To me, when I saw her, I knew I was screwed. She then stood next to me and decided to talk to me. This is the conversation that followed. Entitled mom. Hey, could you let my kid sit down? Me, you mean me? Entitled mom. Who else? Me. Oh. I'm sorry, but I'm on my way from the hospital and entitled mom. Cutting me off. So are we? Nonsense. The stop was a few kilometers away from the hospital. My boy just broke his leg and we're coming straight from the ER. Her kid was standing next to her, without any support. Clearly embarrassed. Me, he's standing next to you completely fine. Entitled mom. Look here. Boy, I'm 21 yo. My kid deserves to sit down. Me, look madam. I'm sorry, but I just got back from a chemo session in the hospital and I need to sit down and rest. I then moved my wig a bit to let her see my bald head. Entitled mom then straight up started yelling in my face. Entitled mom, stop making excuses and get off the effing number at INGC2F at $, and ING skinhead piece of ST. At this point, I was baffled. I didn't know what to say. The kid was trying to make his mother stop, and we had the attention of the whole bus. She then grabbed me and tried to yank me from my seat. I held on tight and thankfully didn't fall off. Now, enter Og, my savior. Og, will you shut the effing number K up you dumb cow? Entitled mom, who do you think you're talking to? Og, with ice cold voice, stop assaulting other passengers or I will be forced to step in. Also, every dumb moron could see that the dude has cancer. Entitled mom, no. He's just a effing ad number-ing skinhead. Og, he's got no eyebrows you twat. Seems like that really offended entitled mom, because she spun around on the spot and threw a falcon punch in Og's face. I was shocked and in disbelief. The whole bus was flabbergasted, and the kid probably wished he'd never been born. Og then said something unbelievable and a golden, sweet karma moment followed. Og, okay. That does it. Harassing passengers on the bus. Physical assault against a passenger and now assaulting an officer. You're in deep trouble lady. Og then pulled out a badge and told her to stay where she was. Then he pulled out his phone, called someone and told her she was being arrested. I couldn't believe it. Og was a bloody cop. At this point, entitled mom was as white as a wall. The bus had just come to a stop, so she decided she'd make a run for it. but other passengers blocked her way. She then also got charged with resisting arrest thanks to this. 3 stops later, a police car was waiting for the entitled mom, and Ek told me he was sorry for his mother's behavior, and I felt really sorry for the kid. He wasn't a bad child, but his mother was a hellspawn. Og then talked to me and asked me if I wanted to press charges, to which I gladly said yes, took a statement, and thankfully was kind enough to let me solve everything on the phone, so I didn't have to come to the police station for questioning. In the end, entitled mom got some jail time. I think it was a few months, and some community service. I, in return, got a good story to tell, and the sweet taste of instant karma. Right now, I'm riding the same bus home, as I just got back home from the hospital after a checkup, which reminded me of this. A friend, who's sitting next to me, told me I should post it here. As much as myself, also couldn't believe that such people excised, but it seems I proved it to him. I should also note that the surgery went well. I was declared cancer-free in November and my hair is slowly returning. Also, I don't need to wear a wig anymore. Edit 1. Spelling errors. Edit 2. Thank you, kind stranger, for my first ever silver. Edit 3. Holy. Thanks a million for the gold. Never had one before. Now I'll need to learn what it does. Edit 4. Platinum. I can't even. My fellow Redditor, you are a legend, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'd also like to thank everybody for their positive comments. You guys made my day, and I'm sorry that I cannot respond to all of them. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Congratulations on becoming cancer-free. I demand a parley with the CEO haircut. Good story, my dude. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. Congratulations on beating the cancer. Also, WTF is wrong with the mom? I've seen some hit myself, but this definitely tops the cake. Poor embarrassed kid. He deserves better. Congratulations on cancer free. And also, sorry for what happened to you that day. She seemed like a hellspawn of a person. Glad that cop was there that day. That twist at the end, the cop. I was laughing so hard. Number good job. Edit, glad you're well. The one who was cancer in this story was the mom. Harassing a passenger and assaulting an officer. Pikachu face. My dude, congratulations on being cancer free. I know the struggle. I have cancer too, first year in treatment. I feel like Og walked entitled mom right into that situation. That is awesome. Also, good for you that you're all well now. My dad died from cancer, so I'm glad to hear you're cancer free. Also, I could not help but laugh with each thing you described her adding on top of it all. I started laughing out loud when you described the Og saying he's a cop. This story didn't happen. It's pretend. I'll take made up dialogue that doesn't even remotely resemble what actually happened for $500 Alex. I'd bet my life she didn't start yelling and swearing and calling US skinhead Mayo. I'm sure it was a nice fantasy though. I'm happy for your improving health. I had an aunt who worked in the Pentagon in DC. She had a chemo session the day it was attacked by terrorists, so she wasn't at work that day, but we were freaking out cause all the phones were tied up and we couldn't get through. Thank you all for all the positivity in the comments. I'm sorry I do not have the time to answer them all, but I'm really glad for all of them. Bless you, people. So Og is a police officer? Og, he's got no eyebrows, you twat. Really? Police officers, even if they are undercover, can't say that. Your English is great, and you are a great storyteller. Congrats in beating cancer, man. People like this are the worst kinds of people. That M was cancer. Congrats on being cancer free. I know my mom always gets relatively self-conscious as she has permanent alopecia. I think you made a minor spelling error on that earlier, but good to hear you pressed charges. Sometimes people decide that it's not worth their time to do that, and it causes injustice and people to think they can get away with it. I believe that one of the requirements for charging someone with assaulting an officer, or whatever the equivalent charges where this took place, is that the person had knowledge that the person was a police officer and it was during the performance of their duties. I think usually this would mean that before the assault occurred the officer is in uniform, displaying a badge of authority, or had already identified themselves in some way as a police officer. It seems like the officer didn't make this clear until after the attempted assault on him occurred. I'm glad this person was held accountable for their actions. I just find it surprising that it seems like they were able to get that charge to stick. It seems like the assault on the officer would be the most significant and likely charge to result in the jail time. Far the best story on this subreddit. Also, what are skinheads?